Hey everyone, we'll be recording our enrichment program today, right? And the topic for our enrichment program today is, let me see, sharing and cooperation. Can you see the screen over there? Okay, so let's start the slideshow. What are we going to be talking about today? Do you know what sharing and cooperation means? Cooperation is when you work or play together. Thank you. Today we'll talk about some character qualities like generosity, selfishness, and unselfishness. And we'll talk about different ways to share. We'll read a couple of stories about sharing. And let's start. The first character trait that we'll learn is generosity. Do you know what it means? Generosity? Bible says it is more blessed to give than to receive. Can you repeat it after me? It is more blessed to give than to receive, right? That's what Jesus wants us to do. He wants us to feel happy about giving. So when you feel happy about giving, you're being generous. That's what generosity means. Look what's happening in the picture. This is a girl, her name is Jessica. She's an older sister. She has a little baby brother. And look what she's doing in the picture. What is she doing?
She brings the bigger half to the big.
Right. And nobody asked her to share with her baby brother. Baby brother didn't have a cookie. And she had the whole cookie. And she looked at her baby brother. Baby brother was sad because he also wanted a cookie. And you know what? Nobody told her, it's nice to share. Please share with your brother. Do you see anyone who told her anything like that? No, they didn't. It came from her heart. She had a generous heart. There are other ways when we can be generous. Let's see what happens in this picture.
He is getting the coin without asking.
The boy, yes, the boy is giving coins in chapel or in church, right? This church is collecting some donations for a mission trip. And the boy is donating money. But when you do something good to someone else or for someone else without them asking, just because you want them to feel good, that's when you're generous. When you're doing something for yourself, that's being independent. That's being a big boy, right? You're a big boy in the morning because you did it all by yourself. But when you fix a sandwich for your younger sibling, do you ever fix a sandwich for a younger sibling? Do you ever pack snacks for your younger siblings? Right? Sometimes that's being generous because you're not only sharing your food, but you're also sharing your time and your knowledge, right? Your baby brother or baby sister doesn't know how to fix a sandwich yet, right? Maybe they can't even get into the fridge and get all the ingredients. So there are other ways to share, not just things, right? If you don't have things, but you still want to be generous, you can share your heart. You can share your heart and your love with your friends and with God too. What is it, Debbie?
Sometimes we open my refrigerator, like our refrigerator, and our baby gets them out.
Your baby, is it your baby sister or your brother who gets into the refrigerator? Baby's. She's one and she's getting, well, you know how you can help her? You can distract her a little bit and move it to a side and say, let's close that fridge. Let's go play with something else. That's how you share your love with your sister, right? She doesn't understand yet. She speaks Russian or English, or she doesn't speak anything yet.
Oh, well, she could say, Mama, Mama,
Mhm.
Mama.
Okay, what is it, Steve?
My baby brother once was playing in the refrigerator.
In the refrigerator. Okay,
He's 9.
that's probably not very safe. So you can share your knowledge. Say, baby brother, it's not safe to play with the refrigerator, right? You can get cold, you can get hurt, something can fall on you. Sharing your love, sharing your knowledge, sharing your heart, your praise, your thanks. Those are all the ways to be generous.
He's 9 months.
He's so little, so tiny, right? Let's talk about selfishness and unselfishness now. So, being selfish or being unselfish, have you heard the word selfish before?
Yeah.
What does it mean to be selfish?
Just do it for other people.
That's right. You're selfish when you want everything for yourself. It is more blessed to give than to receive. We learned that already, right? So let's see what happens in this picture. This boy is selfish. Why do you think the boy is selfish? Well, looks like they're both pretty selfish, right? What are they doing?
They're grabbing the toy because they both want it.
They both want to play with a toy, and one say, I want it, and another say, no, I want it. Each of them is being selfish. I don't know who started playing with it first. Yes, oh yeah, you can break a toy like that for sure. And looks like, yeah, it
Can come out of it.
mm-hmm. And maybe it's a classroom toy. It doesn't belong to either of them, right? And what do you do in the classroom? Or when you go to the library and there are a lot of shared toys there. What if you want to play with something or you want to read a book and somebody else comes in and say, I want that book? What would you say? That's unselfish. When you choose to make someone else happy, even though it's not something you want, that's very unselfish because you're thinking about other people. Bible tells us, love your neighbor as yourself. Can you say that with me? Love your neighbor as yourself. Can you share some love with your neighbors? Look, you have neighbors around you. Share your love with your neighbor. Just like that, yes.
It's a blue house, not really next to us, but it's on the road. And of course, they had Halloween stuff, but now they don't. But they have Halloween fun.
So you play with neighbor kids and you share toys with them sometimes?
There you go.
You don't really, well, what you meant to say that you do have neighbors, right? And you do love them, even though you don't get to play with them.
Yeah, but
Look at those neighbor girls. What are they doing?
the black one, the white one going to the swing.
Yeah, the brown-haired girl is giving her turn, right? Looks like she also wants to swing. Otherwise, she wouldn't be there by the swing, right? And the blonde girl is taking her turn. Seems like the girl with the curls, she gave her turn. She was very unselfish.
And the other one is with the girls.
Yeah, she was unselfish, right? Now let's read a book about Amber Lamb. Amber Lamb is obviously a lamb, and Kitty is her neighbor. Her name is Katie. So here's how the story goes. Katie Kitten came to visit to Amber Lamb, and here's another picture of them. Look. So Katie came to visit. I'll show it to you later. Just look at the screen right now. And she asked Mrs. Lamb, Mrs. Lamb, may Amber Lamb come out to play? Yes, Katie, Mrs. Lamb answered. She called Amber, and soon Amber and Katie were walking over to Katie's yard. I want to show you my birthday presents, Katie said. My grandpa gave me a tricycle, and Daddy and Mommy gave me a fire truck with a siren that really works. Wee-oo, wee-oo, wee-oo. How does the siren go? Yeah, you see? There is that, you see it in the picture. It's right there. Amber looked at Katie's tricycle. It was bright, shiny red, and had silver horn on front that made a loud honk honk sound. And Amber loved it. She watched how Katie climbed on her tricycle and showed her how well she could ride it.
A bicycle?
It was a tricycle. Tricycle has 3 wheels and bicycle has only 2, right?
She has a tricycle.
She does. So look, you also have a tricycle? Bicycle, Oh, nice. Well, do you think it was a nice tricycle that Katie has?
Yeah.
It was really nice. But you know what? Amber also wanted to try. And Amber asked, "Now, can I ride it?" But Katie shook her head. "Mm-mm. I don't want anyone else to ride my tricycle." Do you think it was the right thing to say? No, that was very impolite. And that was rude and very selfish, right? So Amber asked, "Well, then, could I play with your fire truck?" And Katie said, "No, you might break it." Amber, yeah, very selfish. Amber's eyes filled with tears. "Why did you invite me over if you didn't want to share your new toys?" So Amber Lamb left home and she was very, very sad. And she told her mom about what happened. And her mom said how it's important to love your neighbor as yourself. That's what Bible tells us. And her mom reminded her that if she was in the spot of Katie, she would probably share, right? But you know what happened next? Katie was bored playing by herself. So she came to Amber Lamb again and said, "Amber Lamb, can we play again?" Amber Lamb first said, "I don't want to go." Why do you think Amber didn't want to go with her first?
Because she don't see her files.
Yeah, she was very sad because Katie had all these toys and Amber was just, she couldn't play with anything. So Amber said no. But then Katie said, "I will share my toys with you. We'll play together." So what do you think? After that, did Amber Lamb go? She did. Amber Lamb was enjoying her tricycle, well, Katie's tricycle, and Katie was playing with a truck, and then they switched. And they stayed for good neighbors and friends forever. There's another book I wanted to share with you. This is another book about sharing. This book will tell us what are the different ways that people can share. Yeah, can you sit down so you wouldn't block? Theo, can you sit down over here so I could see you? Yeah, thank you. So you really need to go. Okay. Okay. So when you share things, you can divide them if it's possible. Let's look at this picture. It's fun to play and imagine. Let me do something. Well, it's almost time for us to be done. Let's wait a little bit and then yes, thank you for waiting. So let's see. It's always fun to play together, isn't it?
Yeah.
You see the kids, they're playing together. They're maybe in the library, maybe in preschool, but it's really fun to play and imagine. Sometimes when I play, I want what other people have, or they want what I have. Does it ever happen to you? Look, the girl is playing with what?
A Play-Doh.
The girl is playing with Play-Doh. And these kids, they don't have anything to play with. So they really want to play with Play-Doh too. And you know what's one way to share? Yeah, you can divide things. So one color Play-Doh will go to one kid, another color will go to another kid. It's fun to share as one day. Yeah, you can divide it, right? And you can give something to some other kids who don't have Play-Doh, right? Another way to share is to use things together. Look, you can divide a ball, can you? You can cut it, you can split it. It's just one ball. So a fun way to play together, if you have one, but seems like they only have one. So one way to share is just to play together. Like they're doing, like you guys were playing together, right? When you were playing soccer, you had only one ball, but you were sharing. You were cooperating. What is it?
Cannot split, then it will just pop.
Exactly, the ball will break. Trading is another way to share. Look, this girl has a robot. And this girl has a really nice book. So they're saying, well, can we trade for a little bit? And then you play with my robot and I play with your book. I just look at pictures. And then girl said, yeah, of course. Well, I want to keep my book though. Of course. So you don't have to trade forever, right? You can just trade for a little bit. So somebody else could play with something that you have while you could play with something that they have.
But Oliver never lets me trade back.
Oh, really? Oh, that's not good. Taking turns is another way to share. Remember, we were talking about the swing situation, right? When the girls were taking turns.
Yep.
Here in this book, they're playing with water toy. Take turns to slide, right? You can't slide at the same time. You don't want to bump your heads. You don't want to hurt anyone. So they're taking turns while sliding. And these kids take turns while playing with water. And this looks so much fun. Would you like to play like this too? If they wouldn't take turns, everything would be in water. It would be a disaster. But seems like they're doing it just right. You can also share things you know. Like remember when we were talking about teaching your little brother not to get into the fridge, right? That's sharing your knowledge, something that other little siblings don't know. So you're sharing your knowledge. Here, little girl knows how to read, and this boy doesn't know how to read yet. So she's reading for him, sharing her knowledge. Isn't that amazing? It is. You can also make drawings for other people and share your talents. You can play some music. Do you know how to play instruments? Right? You know how to play a recorder? Yes, you can play something. Cello and a piano. That's amazing. So you can share your gifts and talents, or you can draw or make some craft. Giving presents to someone is so unselfish and generous.
Donald on the piano.
Oh, that's so cool. And look, sometimes you can share jobs too. You see, these girls are setting the table together. This older girl has this home job that she has to set up the table. But this little girl is being nice and saying, do you want me to help you? I can take turn for you to set up the table. Or I can take a turn and take your other job, like sweeping the floor. or putting all the papers in trash, or putting all the recycling outside, right? You don't have to only share good things. You could also share something that you don't really want to do, you know? You can share it with someone else, someone who's being helpful. I might offer to share, or another person might offer to share. It's okay. And you know what? You don't have to always say yes. Of course, if it's something that belongs to you and it's a special book or a special toy or a special stuffy or a special blanket, and you don't feel like sharing because it's so important for you, just remember about being polite. And remember about not hurting somebody's feelings. You can say, oh, can I share later? Or is it okay if I can give you something else to play? Because this thing is very special to me, right? Because if you say, no, it's mine, that could hurt somebody's feelings. That other person can start crying. Yeah, that would be selfish and rude. So every time you don't feel like sharing, just remember about being polite. So let's see what we learned here. We can divide things, right? We can use things together. We can trade. We can take turns. We can share things that you know or that you can make. Or you can share your time. That's what will you do with your friends, with your neighbors. Yeah, because Bible tells us, what does it tell us? Love your neighbor as yourself. Let's finish our lesson with sharing our hearts with our neighbors again. Here you go. Thank you, everyone. Bye, Steve.